John Mangona.
Here.
Dave Sisney.
Here.
Brian Shear.
Here.
Chris Fogg. Earl Franklin.
Here.
Joe Huss.
Here. Okay, minutes, approval for the meeting of January 14th, 2026.
I'll make a motion to approve those minutes.
Second. Have a first and second. Is there any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Claims register approval for the month of January 2026.
I'll make a motion to approve the claims register.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Have a second. Any further discussion? If none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Unfinished business. There's none. New business. WNSC funding request for computers.
We had originally committed funding to Westover School Corporation for their computers. Our original request had been around $50,000. When Heidi was here last fall doing our report, she had suggested maybe increasing that amount so they could also use some of their school funding to another project. So they are requesting $75,000 this year. So we have the funding available. So desire to approve that.
I'd make a motion to approve that request.
Second. First and second, any further discussion on this? If not, all in favor of the figure of $75,000, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Have it. Okay. Ben Gary, Human Resources.
You need to speak over here.
Yes, if you would. I'm sorry, I didn't have your name. What's your name?
Joshua Dennis. I'm the plant manager.
How?
Joshua Dennis.
Oh, just this.
So I'll let Josh go into more detail on what you guys have in front of you there. We've been bagging there for, I think, a couple seasons now. They're at 200 Pennington Way. We're looking at this off season of expanding operations and adding some new equipment, as well as some jobs with that new equipment that would be going in. As you can see on the bullet points below, and actually I missed one when talking to Josh, which is why I'm glad he's here. He can go into a lot more detail on it. But we'd essentially be looking at installing a new bagging system right next to the one we currently have from Redevelopment, which is an ASEAN. And they currently did our other bagger that's there as well, and be able to essentially go from about nine bags a minute to about 25.
You're right, we're at about 12 bags a minute on the old machine, and over those about
19 bags per minute. So we've already got commitments for next year for our bagging operation. We've done very well there this year, and we're looking to expand. We've already started the process of clearing some of that land to the west as you're coming in. If you're looking at it straight, it's to your left there, and we'd be looking at hopefully putting in a clear span there to be able to hold about 12,500 tons of our material product that goes in our bags. Also putting in a new mixing system, new wheel loader, and then obviously the bagging and robot palletizer system that Redevelopment would be doing. And then Josh had also said something that's not on there would be our conveying system. Right now we have a small machine that's conveying to our bagging line currently, but we'd be pulling that out and direct feeding 2 lines, which that would probably add another
250 to 300,000.
Yeah. So
Adam?
yeah.
Just explain to folks what you do and what you want to do.
Yep. So we are bagging de-icing company. So we manufacture 50-pound bags of. We essentially bring in the raw material from Chicago, Toledo, and then Josh treats it with our mixing system, and then we dye it, put it in a bag, and we're selling to retail stores, commercial contractors in the local area. And over the last 2 seasons, actually 3 seasons, we've doubled every every single year as far as what Josh has been able to output. That's why we're looking now to install this other stuff so that we can hopefully double again next year.
Thank you.
Yeah, and then we had met with Melanie and Adam about potential tax abatement.
Yep.
What we found with that, with the new law, it has to be over 2 million for
Okay.
equipment, which you know
meet
that
Yep.
the whole project has to be. So at this point, you're already gonna be getting that
That,
part of it.
yep.
So you'll get some requests.
Yes, so on the secondary page that we have there, one of the other things that we're looking at is one of our main customers currently is a very large company that also does fertilizer, and because of what we've done with the de-icing, they've asked us to seriously consider doing fertilizer product for them. And to do that, fertilizer and de-icing salt does not mix very well. So we need to look at another place, hopefully within Ligonier, to be able to purchase and designate that site specifically for fertilizer, which would mean obviously more infrastructure that may be another year away. But we're obviously looking into the future and would like to, hopefully if this is available and something that we could put together, we would definitely look at that as a either staging area for the current season for what we produce this next season, but also long-term, within the next year or two, we'd be looking at putting in some infrastructure to go being able to bag fertilizer directly there as well,
Which will be more robots and more bagging.
and more jobs.
That's what we love to hear.
On the first phase, how many people you talking to?
With the installation of the new bagging system, you think it's another,
You're gonna have about 3 more guys. Yeah. Yep. So just for, give you an idea on ourselves, our first year, I think we're going on year 5 of bagging here. We did like 27 truckloads, each truckload by hand. We didn't have a robot stacker. Got a new stacker. Following season, we sold around 60 truckloads. Then year 3 and 4, we did about 100. 100 on 3, and then we did about 250 last year. This year, we're on track to do almost 1,000. So it's a drastic increase. That's why we need that next robot to take us to that next level. Yeah, because we're having trouble keeping them down. So we're probably behind a little over 200 truckloads that we need to fill this month before March is.
And on the second page, you're potentially interested in buying that parcel from
the city if that's available.
and it's owned by the
Yep.
development division. So
We're running out of ground space as it is, the store pallets where we're at, we're very limited. Sure. So bringing this now will give us more ground space for more product for our salt. But here in the next couple of years, when we do fertilizer, because we're excavating the land now where we're at, we're taking all the trees down, add more ground space for more product. So in the meantime, we can store product on the new property if that happens to happen. And then later on, we can put the lines in for the fertilizer and move the salt back to our property where it's at. Very cool.
okay, so the process for the city selling land, we have to get to appraisers.
Yep.
The redevelopment commission is not as tied to taking the average of 2, but as long as we agree on a fair market for that.
Yep.
However, we do have to put it out for advertising.
Right.
For bids. We can't just sell it to you because we are a public entity.
Right.
We could be able to do that, but let's see, over the years, we've had a little bit of interest in that property, but not a lot. So chances that someone else
Right.
could be interested in it, but potentially may not would be. So it could end up to be. So that's just how we have
Yes.
to do it.
Yep.
I guess I would make a motion, this company's interested that we would get 2 appraisals on this land again. I think we've done this several times,
At least once.
at least once, or talked about it several times. So that would be my motion, that we would move forward in the process of getting 2 appraisals and revisit this in March.
I'll second that.
chances are the appraisals would not be back.
Probably not.
Okay, I have a motion to get two appraisal orders. Do I have a second?
Yep.
Any further discussion on it? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Was that all, at this point, you really needed the commission to,
Yes, yep, for right now.
so, you know, we just have to get that ball rolling and see where it goes.
I guess the other thing I would recommend to this is if it's not before our March meeting, which it probably won't be, but if we get it in March, that we schedule a meeting to meet with these folks to get this process moving as fast as we can.
Yeah, I agree.
And Laura will arrange for the appraisals.
Great.
Exciting stuff, guys.
It
Thank
is
you.
exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah, we look forward to having
Yes.
you do additional business. Thank you for what you do now.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
Any other business?
I just want to talk a little bit about the mobile early learning daycare. As you know, the school board is closing West Noble Primary and moving those kids to West Noble Elementary. So what that means for Noble Early Learning is that we will have to vacate our current facility at the elementary where we did the instruction for those classrooms. So Brian and Earl and I met with Nate, and we talked about, you know, what can we do going forward. There was a plan to possibly move to the high school, but the costs were prohibitive, and it's not feasible at all. But we expressed interest in it because originally, when we first talked about the daycare, and Brian, you remember this because we were doing that, and Earl, we had talked about that former nursery school, which is Turning Point now. And Nate did state that they are looking at selling that separate from the primary school. So I guess what we need to know from the commission is, would you be interested in purchasing that property? The other advantage to that, it is in our park. It's in the city park. It would be a great addition just to have it, even if it at some point wasn't the daycare, just to have that building be a city building. And then he also talked about shoring up the property line to where when they sell the school, that part back by the rec center, that all would be, but obviously they have to do their due diligence and do what they have to do for appraisals and all that. So it's, I don't know how fast the school, did they talk about this at the school?
We did. We might not have to get appraisals,
Oh.
if we sell it for 501c, or release, we don't have to get appraisals, so that's, so also we might not have to do.
Does that include the city because we're a nonprofit?
Yes.
Okay, well, that would be great. So,
The other thing I think for the school board to know is it's not real clear who owns that building. According to county records, so.
Nate was gonna go to
Yeah, it's a city,
the.
it's a school, city
It's,
school.
it's listed as Ligonier City, West Noble.
Yeah. Ligonier City Schools or something.
Yes,
Some
it's
kind of
weird,
crazy.
and I'm just making a joke
Yeah.
of that,
Yeah.
there's no way we would ever try to do
But
that.
anyway, and then we would still have to have the state come in to review what would need to be done to turn that back into the daycare. I think that the bones of it are good, and I think, you know, it was a daycare before, so.
We put some, I mean, it's gonna be rough, we put some remodeling, some to this, for it's shape wise, and taking care of.
Right, yeah.
So,
How many kids are at the early?
well, right now,
Right.
we're only licensed for 38 out there, so that would definitely increase our capacity
Yep.
here. We're not quite full. And I mean, it is struggling right now because with the voucher thing with the state, you know, we had relied on that for budgeting things, so.
Did you see that came up again?
Yes,
Yes.
and it sounds like it is
It's gonna get-
making movement.
Yes.
So that would be wonderful if that happens, because it's affected daycares all across the state. There's closing, and it's just, and we're just getting started, and it just is, it's just heart wrenching to see that happening, but, so I guess at this point, we just need to know that if there is interest of the commission to, pursue, not necessarily, you know, putting a dollar amount. Originally, we had, committed $200,000 to construction when we thought we were going to be building a daycare, and then we're actually going to potentially do a bond for it, but that never came about because of moving to the school. But we spent $50,000 to help them with the costs of the construction out there. So there's 150 on the table that was committed, but if you would be interested in purchasing that building, just to have it be a city building, and then to have some type of when we used to lease to Stoke States, there, the building up there was $1 a year, so we had some kind of a lease agreement with the daycare to do that, to save them some costs.
I think it'd be
Work
make
on the
a
construction.
positive impact, for
And
the
then
city and.
Whatever renovations need to be
Yeah.
done to help fund the renovations. I don't know, that, originally the school was gonna maybe use some dollars to renovate the high school. I don't know if maybe they would consider not necessarily doing that, but maybe consider the cost of the building, maybe not as much since we did that, but I don't know.
We should
It's
talk
hard.
about where we're at.
we're just in that, we're just kind of in those initial stages.
Well, I think with this discussion, I don't know what better use of TIF money from our industry than to support what we know is a need, the studies have been done, to provide them childcare for their workers. And in saying that, I would sure like to see them take a bite off the bone and commit to help the project, because they're gonna benefit from it. It's gonna free workers up that aren't working to go back to it.
Well, and the school did, approve the tri-share,
We did.
right?
The
Did
tri-share.
approve that 3-year tri-share, so.
Yeah.
That would be very beneficial, because I know with the loss of that, the school is, I don't know what's the other third organization. There's something in the county. But the West Noble staff was only paying 1/3 of the fees themselves, so that ended at the end of December.
Yeah.
And we did lose 4 kids, 2 families, because of that, because they couldn't afford it.
Well, I think we're all on the same page.
We all,
The
yeah.
childcare is
Yeah.
about the issue.
Yeah.
We're all on the same page when it comes to trying to come up with a solution.
It's an issue that didn't necessarily exist when we had our, right?
Well, there was more people doing it out of their homes.
Absolutely. Yeah, so
And this is a licensed daycare.
it is.
I mean,
Yes.
that's the thing, you have to follow all the state rules, you have to, make sure that everything is just lined up.
I would say we continue our conversation with the school system in regards to the building, and I would recommend this board to be committed to the purchase and funding the,
Did you want to make a motion?
yeah, I'll make a motion to continue the discussion with school corporation, and 1, the purchase, and 2, commit this funding source to a remodel to make the place a success.
You know, second that motion.
I have a first and a second to approve this. If not, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Thank you, and then, I guess, I didn't know what the school board had, and I guess the next thing, maybe we just contact you again and find out.
Well, we're in the process of, obviously, we're going through the process of the appraisals, which we thought we would have to, so the next one, I think we probably would be fair to get an appraisal of the turning point or whatever, just sit down and talk with people.
Or just even, like a fair market value.
Right. I mean, I think the relationship between the school there is where we need to be.
Fair market value instead of an appraisal.
Yeah, they can do that.
If you don't, because the appraisals are, really expensive to get versus a fair market value would be good.
As long as, we know whether organization is closed, that be by a certified appraiser.
Right. So maybe we suggest we get
Yeah, I'm only one person, but I think we're all on board to work with, to make the best for the communities.
well, and I would say probably close to 50% of the kids are staff. Or the staff are kids right now. And I don't think the move to the turning point would necessarily turn those people
No,
away.
not like.
Because they're still
not like
in
how long
there.
away.
I think some of them really like having it in the school building, but that's just not.
You just have to go down a little further, make another turn, and then wait, let's put another road in the other to go across, whatever you do.
I really like the fact of that location being in the park. They could utilize the rec center. I mean, it's just,
Park, all the park.
yeah, the whole park, whatever happens to the primary school, they could still possibly take advantage of those grounds. I just think it's a win.
How do I get access, how do I get somebody to get access to it? Oh, you or?
Well, we probably need to have Nate, no, we don't have access to
Oh,
it,
okay.
Nate does, but we probably need to make sure Nate wants to do the fair market value, because that would be
Okay.
probably
Just let me know.
him versus us, right?
We have to, well, we have to bring it in front of the board, make sure the board wants to do that. That just me.
Well, I meant to discuss with Nate, so he can bring it to the board, or can you bring it to the board?
Yeah, I can.
Sure, John, or
Then
Joe.
just let me know and then I'll get ahold of somebody.
We did talk with the core people about possibly having that be, that's the
BOT.
DOT.
It's build, operate, transfer process that I had learned about at a conference a couple of years ago. A lot of cities and towns, redevelopment commissions are using this process because it takes our bidding process out of it as either a city or a redevelopment commission. They actually go off our recommendations in regards to local contractors if we want them, or a specialized contractor that specializes in that. And school systems are using this too, Joe. It's pretty interesting. They basically pay for everything up front. This contractor, the management contract firm. And they build it, they operate it as they're building it, and then when it's done, it's transferred either to the redevelopment commission or the city. And there's a bunch of money saved in regards to either school architects and engineers or city engineers. It's an interesting process that I think all of us are gonna have to take advantage of, especially with the funding from the state.
Now, they did indicate when we met with them that time that it's
Yeah.
not necessarily no money up front anymore.
Correct.
They said it used to be just that way, but now there
Yes.
are some costs, but you do get away from, because they don't have to do the bidding the
Yes.
way that municipal
What's it called? It's
BOT, build, operate, transfer.
core is that people talk to. Or info, and it's the guy's company,
I don't remember the guy's company that actually does the paperwork.
but,
So they have their own engineers, they do everything.
They
Sell you a finished product.
because
Yeah.
the company, the guy that came, he has the firm that has the engineers. that do
Correct.
that.
They design it, John, to what you want. They purchase things, they insure it, they do all the things that we would have to do in a normal project. They do it at the end of the project with our approval. It's transferred to whatever organization's trying to do it.
And they said they can lump projects together too. They can lump projects together.
So is it by application process you can, or do you just go to them and then?
You just go to them basically as a contractor, and Core Construction's a contractor slash contract manager company. They partner with this BOT firm that you say, for instance, the city has some projects that we, even if we be in the redevelopment commission that would pay for this project, we could take 4 or 5 projects. Imagine the money that could be saved there, put them in one package. They could put them in that BOT package to save all the fees on all those projects, and it could be lumped into one package. It's unbelievable how this can be used. It really is. The cost savings are incredible.
Patrick Davis is with,
Yes.
GM Development Company, and he and Kerry Colvin were the one, Kerry from Core were the ones that came and talked to Brian and Roland. So they sent us a sample, like a draft RFQ for the city, what it could look like in one for another company on some projects they did. If you guys are interested in, I can forward that to you.
Please do.
That was all I had as far as the rest of this.
I've got a couple things, if I could. Barb, I may have missed this in an email, but Madison,
Oh, yeah.
I'm just gonna be honest. I'm really down on their communication, their productivity.
We do have that call scheduled tomorrow at 1 o'clock.
Yeah,
So,
and
and I don't know if that's why, but I did not get a response to her about coming today.
yeah, we have had so many conversations of, well, we're close, or they've got to produce, and that will be my recommendation to them tomorrow, is if we've got to see something here within 6 months. You've got to gain some ground here.
And, I mean, they did get the commissioners to pass the resolution, so that
Yes,
hopefully will put us in line for some of that
yes,
funding for the infrastructure. And I think
Yes.
that's where we were at.
yes. I mean, we paid these folks $50,000, right? That's $50,000 that has produced zilch in 2 years. I just think us being good stewards of our money, we've got to hold it down. You've either got to show us some movement in 6 months, or we're gonna have to take a different direction. And I hate that, because I think their theory could be very helpful, but we've got to move. We've got to move, so, we'll see how tomorrow's call goes. I'm
I
just,
think they did say initially it's about a 3-year process. We're approaching year 3.
the only other thing I have is I would like to see the redevelopment commission to refocus, since Ryan Barth has done so much work over here in the alley, to refocus on that alley project that we talked about a couple years ago. I think what we should do is refocus and shorten the distance of that area, so we don't have to mess around with parking and all that. That got really, really messy and expensive. I think if we take it from the sidewalk at Cabin Street to the back of his building that he just fixed the corner on, so we're not affecting any of his parking in that area, would be the best case scenario. And I think obviously shortening that will reduce the cost of what we want to do. And I'm not looking for anything extravagant. I'm looking for us to close that off and have a seating area with some nice antique looking lights, and some greenery, some plants that people can get a coffee, or John can meet somebody from Hostler Realty outside when it's a nice day. I just think we're missing that piece downtown, especially on the south end, where everything is coming together. I'd love to see us refocus on that. And we've got at least 2 service groups, the Rotary and Lions, that when we were talking about this a couple of years ago, are committed to help with whatever they can help with. But I would like to see the redevelopment commission to set, right, to say, this is what we want started, and then have those service clubs help maintain it.
I think part of our problem before was it got so extravagant.
It did,
It just got so way over the top that
it did,
the cost was prohibitive.
it did.
I mean, it was just ridiculous.
It did.
You know,
And
to go from our original concept to all these grandiose things that
Yes,
weren't necessary.
yes, I think
Do we
short,
need an engineer to do a plan? Who do we need to help us with it?
maybe Core could help us with that. Maybe that's something we lump into that package. And I would still like to see it as the kid alley. I think it's important to show our history, and we were the world's largest marshmallow manufacturer in the world. I would love to see that as the kid alley, and us put up some historic pictures of the place and his family, and dedicate that area to kids marshmallows. I just think it's fitting. And obviously with our festival every year, It could tie right into that. That would be my suggestion on the alley project. That's all I have.
That's all right, I like that.
Also with the farmer's market being there now.
Yes, the farmer's market, if you haven't heard, is gonna be moved to Station Street. To bring it more downtown, so people are closer to coffee shop, whatever they wanna do downtown. And that alley for that somehow could tie,
Well, goes right to it.
absolutely,
If you're up there on, or you want to go for farmer's market up town area,
yes.
that venue to get there.
Yep.
If there's nothing else, yeah, one other thing is, this,
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes,
I thought it'd be appropriate to, went out to the school the other night to, be recognized, the redevelopment committee, put together the donation for the weight room and, all that, it had a real nice ceremony. Joe and Nate actually presented me with this plaque, and it's a very nice plaque, and, I think appropriately it should go to our president. And you probably haven't seen it yet. Everybody else has seen it, so.
I just think it's just great, the relationship we have, we're looking out for the best interest of the students. of the
Yep.
community. It's just where we're gonna be, it's just great for the.
Yep.
Where we're at.
A couple things that I heard out there, being with Earl that evening was that it's not just for, it's not just for athletes, that they're actually getting kids in PE classes and so forth that are
It's getting utilized very well.
getting interested, the staff uses it. It's just a good thing for everybody. And, so I asked them, I said, what did our money buy? Show me, I like to touch something, right? I said, tell me what our money
You can touch
bought.
it, but it couldn't lift it.
Yeah, exactly. And he said, basically, the redevelopment commission bought the equipment. And that is impressive. If you've never been out there, go and see it. They're doing things with our kids that colleges are doing with their athletes. I mean, it's unbelievable.
There's classes, we actually have weightlifting classes.
Yeah.
They've got boards up there on TVs where they can keep, I mean, it's just interesting for the kids to be able to compete and look at each other, well, I'm at 250.
It is.
We're gonna go to here,
Yeah.
350 and whatever.
Yeah.
Very impressive.
And top of the line equipment.
Oh,
It is,
So
yeah.
we'll figure out, we'll put that somewhere in this room, we'll figure out a good place to hang that, but I didn't wanna do that before you guys all see it. Figure out somewhere.
I would like to personally thank the redevelopment commission for doing that. I forgot about that you guys gave that money, but you know, I've got a son and 2 grandsons that they lifted weights all their life, basically. So I really appreciate that fact. That's a real nice asset to the school and the community. So give my personal thanks.
If there's nothing else, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
second.
Have a first and second, if there's no further discussion, all in favor, say aye.
I
Opposed? We're done.
Good meeting.